January was ridiculous. We had a great month. A lot of people had a really good month. And this last week of January was crazy. So definitely going to be using, and I'm going into February fresh. So again, we're focused. Look at that fucking 1800%. All right. That hair. What are you talking about, dude? Yo, I got I got the wave cap right there. It's been helping a lot. All right, let us commence the weekend Sunday prep. If you guys have requests, hold on to those for just a moment. If you have any questions and you're new, let me know and we'll take a look at that. Big O does not listen. That's crazy. All right. So first things first, guys, everybody, we have a pretty eventful week in front of us. We've got ISM manufacturing, PMI, final manufacturing, just manufacturing altogether starting off Monday. We'll see how the overnight does. We got JOLTS jobs opening on Tuesday. We've got ADP non-farm employment change, more services PMI, final and ISM, unemployment claims on Thursday. And then I do want to mention that a ton of FOMC members will be talking going into next week. So again, this will be on YouTube, posted here. So make sure you guys check that out. All right. So pretty big eventful week in front of us. Let me pull up. If anybody can, will you guys post the earnings chart? I'll probably find it before you do. I found it. Never mind. Don't do it. All right. So earnings this week, big. We got a big earnings week ahead of us. Palantir, Saya, Tyson Foods. You're not going to catch those because it's too late. Tuesday, PayPal, Spotify, Pfizer, Regeneron, Pepsi, Ferrari, whatever, AMD, Alpha, Google, Snap, Chipotle, Interface, AMG, EA. Is this the right? Yeah, it is the right week. Okay. Ton of big earnings, just starting off the first 2 days. Then Wednesday, Uber, Disney, Novo, Toyota. Let's see, Ford, QCOM, ARM. Geez Louise, what a earnings lineup. Aflac, Align, Thursday, Lilly, Roblox, and all of these we'll try to kind of glance through. Amazon, Elf. This is one that I'm ultimately concerned with. Manette, Affirm, Cloudflare, Pinterest, which a lot of you guys have already expressed interest is, definitely has empty space up above it. So, all right. Now that's the prep. So let's go ahead and get into the ETFs because I want to go ahead and cover these and get to your guys' request. So the question here going into this week, right, is ultimately, are we going to fucking crash? And I know a lot of you guys, we talked about this in the Discord, huge leg down. Now this could be something where we start off Monday and we're already at the floor at 594. Right, we've got the right momentum to do that. And if you look at the hourly, there's really only one thing separating us from that. And that's going to be the 597.36 to give us a leg down for the 592 mark. So there we are breaking down really quickly. And I see potential going into this week and even into next week to leg down. And this is my official price target. 584 on SPY, 585 on SPY. I think that gets retested. I don't know if any of you guys have that, but if you guys are on here, I will ask. Let's try to. I don't ask for like goals, but if we can, perhaps get to like 60, 70,000 likes. I'll show you guys my toes. All right. So anyway, I'm just kidding. Let's see here. I'm trying to put there we go. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So that's SPY, right? 24-hour weekly. The only difference is, and I will point this out, the weekly's still green. So we're anticipating a red candle here. We need to be cautious. I'd like to see, by the end of the week that we've continued to the downside. But the one last thing that I'll say, and this is relevant to all ETFs, there's always a chance that a channel builds. So my last and only alternative, if we do not break down because of the empty space up above us, we're watching for a bounce at or around that 598. And that would be a part of this channel. And then at that point, we would be looking at retest of 601. And who knows, maybe we scream right back up. All right, so let's take a look at the Qs. Qs already kind of showing that they're going to end up being, and I wouldn't surprise if we gap down to 518. That is the low underneath the box. Unfortunately, 24-hour time frame, again, nasty rejection off of that wall, falling underneath 525, which is where sellers control the price. And looking at it, what we have underneath us, it's just not a lot, right? We have one last structure on the 4-hour here. Thank you, thank you. And then underneath that, here, right? So 514 and 505. Those are going to be two major trigger points. And at that point, we're going to look as far as the fours, where we might lose 500. Big floor underneath us, so we'll see. All right. I mean, I could see it. I could see it sub 500. And now that we're seeing the rejections that we are, if it follows through, we keep our foot on the gas. I think it's tangible. And one thing is, listen, I'm going to operate the same way that I do up, that I do down. And so, oops, what did I just hit? Essentially, right, I'm looking at it this way. If we're flipping it upside down, right? I see a move, and I just flipped my chart upside down. Yes, Andrew, I do believe we'll see continuation to the downside. With tariffs and the way that we're getting into trade wars, yes, it's going to affect us. You could expect consumer spending to go down, right? People can't afford that shit. So anyway, we have the setup, right? And we have the target to get us there. And I think that ultimately, right here will be one of our first targets. So anyway, am I shorting? If the trigger, we are really close, and I already have a short. So I swung over the weekend. All right, so last one, we'll do IWM. This one, whoo, I like it. I like it. I really do. The reason, and I know a lot of you guys, we shorted this one over the weekend, right? We'll get rid of all this. Oh, never mind. I'll just delete it myself. What the fuck am I listening to? All right, sorry. So I like this one. So anybody on Monday, if you guys are looking for a short, this is what I'm anticipating. If we can get a breakdown, and I have basically a 2-hour box that you can utilize right here. And so we're looking for a breakdown below 224.18. We're going to break down, and we should see a retest of 220, and I'm going to let that fall into the 219s, right? And that's based off the fact that we do have empty space underneath us. We are operating inside of a channel. That channel's not yet complete, so there's definitely room to come back down and test that floor again at 218. So that's what we're looking for going into the next week. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate that. Yeah. Shout out to Ivy, my assistant. Hired her. We hired her brother, and his thumbnail skills are pretty sick. So, all right. So IWM, that is our last ETF. Can we see the 2-hour again? For sure. So again, and this will be on YouTube. It is recording right now. Let me get that out of the way, actually. So ignore all this extra stuff, but that is what we're looking at right now for IWM. Yeah, shout out to Alex and Ivy. So, all right. Thank you. A napkin. This will, Big O, you're one of a kind, dude. I'm eating French fries. Shoot me. All right. So That's IWM. Thank you. A little bit short, not as a significant leg down as the other one, so I kind of expect this one to follow through to the downside. All right. If you have a request, and yeah, if you say long or short, that'll give me insight on what you're thinking. So all capital letters, capitalize the whole stock, dash, spy, whatever it is, and go ahead and post your guys' request. I'll start with dash because that's the first one I saw. And again, I am highlighting empty space. If it doesn't have it, I'm going to let you know about it. So we still have a remaining target on Dash at 194.36. It did not really see much of a pullback comparatively to other stocks, but it is seeing a little bit of red. Now, I want to teach you guys something. Those of you guys who are new, we've come to a conclusion here, right? We know where we're supposed to go, and we're halfway there. So this is kind of like an imbalance, if you will. But we don't see anything, right? I don't see anything. I don't see anything that's structurally underneath us. So immediately I move down, right? So rather than just wasting my time, I immediately start moving down, looking for those boxes, structure, right? So underneath us, and it does appear that there is a channel leading us up as well. But looking at Dash right now, there is a couple of areas, and I'm going to move down to the hourly because this is going to help me out a lot. So first things first, right? Here's your top, here's your bottom. So Dash underneath 186.21. I think there's a high probability that you'll retest 183.75, and that's where you want to bounce if you're looking to long Dash. If Dash falls any further, you have a cost basis mark around 180, and that would kind of be your last stopping point. Otherwise, you would have targets down around 174. So I didn't do that. Just take it off. That's weird. Sorry, I ordered the kids dinner. All right, so that's Dash. See a little bit of a retest pullback here, but yeah, we'll do earnings stuff. Respectfully, those don't look like boxes on Dash. They're not. This isn't a box yet, and if I'm actually moving down to the hourly, the structure would be hyper concentrated here and concentrated here, but we're looking at the fractals of that higher time frame setup. So on the lower time frame, right, when you go to the 2 hour, that is a box, right? This might not have a floor that's as clear, but it is the box. So, all right, McDonald's short. All right, so yes, significant rejection off of cost basis. You lost your floor. You've got nothing underneath you. I see a 285 target to the downside. I like that. I like that one down. I would pay attention to 286 as there is a potential bounce there, but ultimately it would be 284.75. Now, if you're looking even shorter, you would have to go break 282, but that looks pretty good. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. I appreciate you. Let's see. I'm seeing a lot of AMD. So I talked about this one last week, and we closed right at 115, basically right near the floor, and it is showing a bit of a channel. We dumped really, really quickly, so I think there's some in-range trading that could end up happening. Now, watch on Monday, right? If you've gapped down to the floor, that's a different story, right? If you've gapped down to the open of that gap, we could see a bounce up reversal. I expect for this 114.31 to get hit, bounce back up 115, and I'd like to see a retest right here of 117.65. AMD has earnings. That is correct, right? AMD has earnings. It does on Tuesday. Okay, so that will change things. So I'll give you guys my earnings rundown here. I see a target, or well, rather a floor that we've kind of gotten really close to, but yet to have bounced off of in the most recent price action. Over here to our left, we're in between the two of them. So we'll see. But I see 109 underneath you as a first downside target. I have to give it that. Now I will box that up. right? Looking at the most recent price action. And so a secondary target, if you break down further, would be 102. Now that's pretty significant. To the upside, obviously there you left a gap. So if you can dump into Monday and then give yourself a good bounce going into Tuesday, um, it's not the cleanest thing, but it is a floor that we have failed to hold. So if you pop back up, I could see a target of around 135, 134. But I will say this isn't my favorite setup for earnings. It kind of looks like it could just give you a range between, let's see, where is that? So I could see a range, from here to here. So that's as far as I see on AMD. Not my favorite setup. So XLF down. Yeah, keep dropping your guys' requests. You might have to drop them a few times so I can get them. So we have a financial ETF here. And one of my main rules here is once you break something, you don't typically want to fall back underneath it. Now, when I look at this from afar, immediately I see that we are likely to return back to this structure here with a top sitting right here at 50.85, right? We're already breaking down underneath it. So a loss of 51.17 should bring you straight back down to 50.87. So thank you, Dustin. Appreciate you, man. So anyway, there is a potential. Now, I'm not going to call for that yet, but and I would say small accounts could possibly look into this because I know that it's pretty fairly priced. Um, there is a potential for extended downside. If you punch down, you would see a target of all the way down at $49. So this is something that you need to map down. Look. So basically under 51.17, that'll start that process to break down. Anything back up above 51.67 and the short plays over. Ford down to 744, 24-hour time frame. Man, if there's any stock that I would recommend that people don't trade, which again, you got to do what, this isn't financial advice, but that's what I see. So when I look at this, I see a retest of 978, but you're grinding both up and down. I know Ford has earnings, and one thing that I mean, it does break. It does have the tension, so you have a potential to punch down below 983, lose your floor, which would be pretty freaking significant. And at that point, the only thing I see underneath you is a $9 whole target, so nine even. If you were to pop up, right, I only see a 1075 target. So not very dope. All right. Uber down. Uber also has earnings coming up this week on Wednesday, right? So this is a earnings setup. So we're going to take a look at the weekly first, right? What do we see? What do I see? I immediately see some form, right? A little bit of channel action there. On the weekly, really all we have is a floor underneath us. You have a bunch of I mean, I like the wick coming back up. That shows that you're in a position to potentially toast sellers. Now, when we move down into the 24-hour time frame, you're immediately met with your box, which is the floor that you're rejecting. So my first target on Uber would be 71.50. If that breaks, I think you would have two, and this doesn't look like a terrible setup. I see 75.80 and I see 77.40. Those would be your upside targets. Your downside targets, of course, underneath you, if you were to punch down, right, 61.13 would be first, and then 56.50. NVIDIA down. All right, so this one is a hot topic right now, and I will say that yes, you are in the throes. Now, one thing that I typically don't like is that um, uh, if we are gapping down and leaving empty space. Have you ever looked? No, I haven't. So from what I can see on the weekly time frame, we are, and I believe I talked about this a while ago. We bounced off of cost basis. This is huge, right? Especially if we're tracking this channel right here, right? Which again, it could come from the floor here, and that could just be the median. But I know that there's structure in a channel here. So let's go ahead and move down into the 24-hour time frame where that cost basis is clear. So your next target to the downside would be 109 if you break, right? And that break would happen at 114.71 on a lower time frame. And then your next target would be just this little box, right? An intraday price action 109.76. And if you clip and break 106, that's where I would be looking even further down. But I will warn you, with that gap overhead and all of this downward pressure, if they were to ban deep sea or something of that nature, I mean, you could see this thing flip around hard. And I'm telling you, it will go and fill that gap up at some point. So hold on one second. Shout out to Liquid Death drink. That's what it's called. All right. At what point do macro conditions impact your decisions on earnings or swing holds? I mean, there can data, it's either data or it's just the setup is the setup. I do not, the longer I've done this, the less that I've cared or really paid attention to any of that. Obviously, there's things that like tariffs and shit like that, but the mechanics are still the same. So, anyway, so let's really quickly before we move on, I want to just point out some of the hard lines here. So last week we actually ended up rejecting that floor. So if you are looking long, and I'm actually going to set an alert right here, 127 is where this likely will start breaking off, and that's where you could see a leg up on Nvidia. So yeah, I guess the conditions either add to the setup or take away from them. Okay, so 24-hour time frame. You're sitting in between a major catalyst down and a potential reversal up. One thing I can tell you, this is not going to be easy. Yeah, you're so close. All right, Tesla. Everybody's watching Tesla. If you guys are on here just joining, make sure to tap your screen. So earnings basically just crammed a massive amount of volume back into this area of consolidation. Right now, on a lower time frame, we went up and we retested cost basis up above us, or rather just the floor, and we lost it. So as of right now, we have to be down here on a lower time frame and mapping out what is above and what is below. So we have a box underneath 400, right? Cost basis at 394, and that would lead us to our floor, which has been tapped multiple times, and that would lead to a breakdown. At the moment, I would want to see just the imbalance of 410.85 reclaimed for us to have any shot of breaking back up. But the upside right now looks a little bit cooked um, until we see a reversal market wise. But as of right now, my target remains the same at 361 for Tesla. So All right, keep dropping them. BB Long, 24-hour time frame, BlackBerry. So talk about a lack of volume. This reminds me a whole lot of eBay. You are moving into a massive structure right here. You may or may not have reclaimed the floor, but I wouldn't really trust it until 465 has been reclaimed. And again, to my point here, your volume is abysmal, right? This breakout and how you left that area of consolidation underneath you just shows that the interest is not high here. So at minimum, and actually now that I'm looking at this, if you look to your left at that green candle at 455, that's exactly what you tap. So that is where you go up potentially, and then back underneath you 422, you could end up breaking back down. TMUS. So this one is looking like it's probably underneath this floor right here at 299.30. I would expect for TMUS to come, just really simply, come back down to 223. Simple as that. So let's see, DocU. This one has and I have not looked at this in a second, and I put this channel up, and it is abiding by the channel. So right now, even though we had, and it was a lackluster box, but we are in a situation where we don't have a for sure. We have an overhead resistance of 98.81, and if we can break there, we know we have a target at the imbalance mark. I believe if I mark that out at 102.85, it would basically be right. Actually, 103.75 was way off. To the downside, however, if by chance you fail, you do lack volume, it would be underneath 90.25, and this looks like it, I wouldn't expect this to move immediately, but I would expect this to likely build perhaps a little farther, giving you room to actually move and retest 85.50. So Neo has failed for a third time to break higher. Now it has a massive amount of consolidation above it. It filled its empty space, retested the cost basis up above it, and is now falling back down. So erasing all of this and looking at the structure that we're currently sitting inside, it's tempting to give it the floor. But underneath Neo's 424, I'm predicting a drop back down to your floor at 405. And unfortunately, we are sitting basically right on top of this box. So if it does break down, 390 is your next target to the downside. Yeah, I could definitely see a gap down. If we gap down, though, listen, that's a really good opportunity. Really, really good opportunity, especially if it's a significant gap down. All right, Neo Microsoft. Again, another one that's flashing red signs. Another one that I wouldn't touch. Me personally, I mean, it kind of looks like it's about to just crash. I hate to use that word in public, but like it kind of looks like it's going to crash. You've got a multitude of rejections coming off of the top here. You tried forever to get past this mark, and you've fallen back underneath it. So for the most immediate target this week, I could see a $10 drop down to 405. But if you're looking long on this thing, listen, I'm giving you a trade idea. You take it, you leave it. You have 389 underneath you, and then you have a box. When I look at the box and the trajectory, I see a 375 target. Jack, it's never gambling, dude. Take a look at my page, scroll through my videos, and then come back and talk shit. Go look at anything that we do. That right there, those gains, that 1,860 or 1,800%, that's literally, we are one of the only, if only the group. Oh, guys, I'm going to address these things if I want to. But I enjoy doing it. But we're the only group, I think, in existence outside of TTI, Put Brothers uses a system that creates and generates this kind of percentage gain. So anyway, so Microsoft, I mean, you got it. Multiple rejections off of the top here, right? Sitting to the floor 406. So I mean, yeah, listen, I've had people who hated my guts who ended up switching their stance on me, based off of what they've learned. So doesn't affect me. All right. So we have, you said UPS calls. UPS, they have earning. No, they already had earnings, and it went really bad. And so we're gonna take a look at this on the weekly major way. Oh my God. Yeah, you're getting real close to, and I'm surprised that you didn't just go down all the way to your structure to your left, which has a top target right here at 107. So with last week, you were not able to recover anything. So there is potential for further downside. 24-hour time frame shows no response quite yet to any sort of floor other than the one that you bounced off of. When you move to the 4-hour, you can see that there's the beginning of possible structure. You can see it hanging out around, building on cost basis. So I wouldn't be surprised if you grind down, right? Creating possibly some sort of channel, right? Typically, when we get close to floors, you'll grind into them. Pause. All right. So anyway, if you are looking long for some reason, 116.30 candle close on the 4-hour would be a significant play there, and on the hourly, you would need to at least be above 116.24. So. Yeah, Kayla, whenever, um, whenever you well, remember the YouTube has, a lot of the information, a lot of the videos, a lot of the, if you guys are here right now, you know, pat yourself on the back, because this is exactly where we build a watch list and we find these huge trades. So, all right, I'm gonna take a bite of my burger. God damn. Mm, bussin'. All right, let us continue. Yeah, this is TradingView, and actually, we're gonna switch here. I just downloaded the. I wanted to retest it. So here, my goal here, because this is the TradingView app, is they have different channels up at the top. So I'm gonna leave those on there. All the good plays that I like. Yeah. I'm just a starter and I want to put in $200 into stocks. What should I get? So, real quick diversion here. I just had a long conversation with a member and friend who I ran into at a farmer's market. Funny enough, hadn't seen him in a while, but he we were talking. I told him, because he was like, I've been busy. I've been seeing what you guys are doing. He's like, it's nuts, but it's really overwhelming. I don't know how to get started. And I literally was like, yo, dude, just hit me up. Obviously, he lives here, and start looking for. Obviously, if you don't know my strategy, the strategy that I teach is what I think is the best small account builder. I mean, it's a good trading strategy regardless, a great one. But for small accounts, you can take a small amount of money and make a lot. But if you had $200, I would wait and I would try to make sure that you know exactly what it is that you're looking for. Do I ever run debit or credit? No, I am not. Nope, I do. I don't do any of that. So, all right, I did Microsoft Kevin A. So again, check that one out. So you're still on TradingView? Yeah, I'm on TradingView, but I'm on the app now. So on the app. Yeah. All right. Starbucks puts. Okay. So I will. I'm not gonna sign off on it quite yet, and I need to bring that back down. 107.16. So I really, really want to see how it responds to that mark, and we'll get this spider web out of here. there's really only one line, and this is on the 24 hours. So that's that 107.16 mark. Move down to the 4 hour, right? We still have a zero structure. We left behind a box, but we're dumping fast. So 2 hour time frame, again, starting to see a little bit of an angle there. And so what I'm going to be looking for, and again, I'm going to keep moving down until I find the structure that I need. All right, so pay attention. If you're looking at Starbucks this week, you have clear floors, and this is only identifiable on the 15-minute, but it is where the only structure is. So as of right now, you have a top at 107.36 that you're likely going to retest. You have a cost basis at 107, and if that breaks down, you'll have an immediate target of 106 here. And if momentum is right, you could break down through that really easily. Now, I do want to point out that you are operating inside of this channel, and that channel says that you could hit around what, depending on where we open here. If you tap up or go sideways here, you could see all the way down to 106. So you have a decent little channel here on Starbucks. Not my favorite setup in the world, but it does provide a lot of clarity. So if you are trading it, it doesn't look terrible. So UPST, 24-hour time frame, and you are hoping earnings in 2 weeks, hoping for chop this week. I would agree. Well, you know what? If I'm keeping it 100 with you, I really would actually like to see it break down, right? And I know that would actually be really good for us. So let me tell you my idea, right? Right now, I see a bit of a channel here to the downside. I see empty space underneath me, and even though you can't, most people probably wouldn't draw that as a box, but I know on a lower time frame, just been doing this long enough, where I know that that's a structure underneath us. So that makes a 50% mark within that the imbalance, and that would be at 61.10, maybe 60.80. If you could break down, right, going into earnings, give you a fast move, maybe even just wick the floor, pull yourself back up, and go sideways. If we could do that, that could set us up for a monster rip up to 74 and possibly beyond. So thank you, Potter. I'm part of Lee's team. Appreciate you. Oh, are you talking about Put Brothers? Cool. Hell yeah. Thanks for watching. Boyle. So I'm gonna, again, any chart that looks like this, I immediately am like, ugh. But we can go ahead and draw some lines in the sand here. Right now, underneath you just dipped, and you're trying to bounce right now off of 49.26. And if you're expecting beautiful structure or anything of that nature on these charts, forget about it. You're not gonna find it. But as of right now, you are struggling to hold back up above 53.34. So if you lose your wick at 49.62, your next target to the downside is 47.11. If something goes wrong, I can go ahead and mark out where that likely would reverse. So up above you, you have a cost basis of 54.83, which would lead you to your next cost basis of 58.62, which is a really wild one, but it is. And if that breaks, then possibly a retest of the floor up above you at 62. But those are the triggers both up and down. And if you're new here, one of the reasons that I do that is because if I tell you the play to the upside and you're going down, then you can use that to know exactly where you need to get out. So do I pay attention to ICT concepts like F it? No. Guap grinds, man. There are so many individuals. This is, I believe, ICT is information overload. It feels really cool. It makes you feel really smart that you know all these little things, but putting it all together and trying to be consistent with it, it's really not stuff that you actually need to know. In fact, that's why most people struggle, and there's millions doing it. And when millions of people are doing one place or doing one thing, that's kind of where I back off. That's where I'm like, In fact, that's one of the reasons that I chose to go out on my own, and I ended up figuring this out. So, and who knows, man? Somebody else smarter than me is going to come along later on and probably flip my strategy on its head somehow, and I'll be fucking, yeah, I didn't try and take all this shit. It's too much. Yeah, pause, by the way. All right, so, yeah, thank you, Dustin. Schwab for the detailer. Do you detail people's dills? All right. So Schwab mid punchback. Now I will say you did kind of clip the high here, and we look over to our left, and we have an ugly little box, but a box nonetheless. So your next target is unfortunately only 84.32, but if that can break, I would place another new target over here. I'll show you what that looks like. That's a really nice floor. Target 88.50. I do have my own YouTube channel, and anybody here who is watching, the link is in the bio. I'm telling you right now, and I'm excited for this next month, and you know, going into March, I'm getting married, so it's gonna be a busy month, but this whole year I'm excited because like I saw a huge change in my Discord basically the last half of last year. Just complete difference in the way that people are trading. And it's inspired me to try to build new like instruction manuals for people who are starting out small, or maybe you're starting out and you have a lot of liquidity. What would I do? Instruction manual. Speak now, forever hold your peace. Yeah, go ahead and protest my wedding. We are likely going to live stream it upon request. Also, we have family members who can't make it and want to watch, so it'll be $200 a ticket. I'm just kidding. It'll be in the Discord probably. All right, but I appreciate it. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. Put a soundboard on it. Yeah. Don't get married, Potter. Don't break my heart. Peyton. They're telling me not to get married. They're jealous. He is, Jose. All right. Do you just pop a neuro? No, dude. What do you think I survive off of, folks? I go in there, I say, let me get the whole roll of the 9 milligrams, please. All right. Yeah, go ahead and drop more requests here. I did NVIDIA, guys. It will be on YouTube. Pinky promise. It'll be on YouTube. All right. So I like, listen. No, they're not Zens. They're Velios. I really like trading MU. I've got like a slight love affair with it. It is, and while it will have its moments of fakery. It tapped 94 the other morning and got yanked back down, but candle open was inside of the range. Candle opens are so important. So with that being said, we can draw lines in the sand. MU is absolutely pinched in between its target to the downside, which would give you a break of a significant floor at 83 and give you targets around 79.19, right? I've been watching you for a couple of years, and I can say that you are one of the best, if not the best. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so you are pinched, right? We can see that this, and this is just, again, that previous resistance. Once you fall into a box, that box becomes your cage, and if you want to get out of that cage, you just re-break the box. That's 93.18, candle open, 24-hour candle. Right to the downside underneath 88.30, we are looking for the floor at 84.25. If it happens fast, you'll bounce and retest. If it grinds down, or if it bounces halfway, retest, then bounces all the way down, then we could see a clean break. And I mean, you are looking at a stock, everybody, that has rejected its top. And if we include all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I am new to this and I don't understand nothing. Sleuth, if you wait for one of our Q&A things, that'll help a lot. But everybody, if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel on YouTube, make sure you do so you get updates on when I post videos. I can't promise legally, but if whatever word is closest to promise without promising, my YouTube channel will change the way that you trade. Now, if you go and you get the workshop and then you're able to be inside of the Discord with us, which I still recommend that you watch the YouTube and make a good decision. I'm not trying to reel you in with cars or stacks of cash. I'm trying to reel people in with a strategy that works and that will get them paid. And my favorite thing is that most, not all, but most people make money before they join. So they make the money to join before they come in. So that is where you should focus. And that should be the most important thing. If you do not follow me and you follow someone else, it should be the strategy and the proof, right? I don't care what nice things they say or what fundamental or mental or therapeutic shit they say. Does the strategy work? Yes, no. It's that simple. All right, so MU, I really like it going into this week just simply because it does have that empty space element. And I will add, again, we're talking about up and downside. MU doesn't move in straight lines. I can tell you that if it moves back up above 93.80, we're looking at a long and a retest and a gap fill. Yeah. So I like MU, but I do think it's one of those things you need to be patient for. So, all right. ELF, and I own quite a bit of ELF, and this earnings is going to be pretty important to me. Now, it's leaving behind empty space as it falls. I expect for this one likely to be around 95.50. My average, I bought right here, right around $85 equity a long time ago, 2 years ago. So at the moment for ELF and just getting rid of everything, targets to the downside are at 91.75. Target to the upside would be 123.20. And then following that would be 129. So, what do I want to see it do? I want to see it close outside of one of these ranges. I'm writing on my calendar right now for this day. That's Monday. So I'm building a watch list right now. So MU, I really like a lot. All right. All right. So we've got, yeah, keep dropping your guys' requests. What else do we have? And again, last time, if you guys are new, you know, I'll before the end of this live, I'll take you guys through a trip and we'll go a year back and look at the gains, and I'll show you guys that what we do is 100% legitimate, real, consistent, even when it comes to crypto. Right here, Forex, the percentages 3,734, 5,296%. These percentages are real and achievable. Don't let other people fucking tell you that they're not. It's absolutely real. So, I get distracted by my own gains. All right. Do I day trade any? Uh, I do if I see an absolutely clear setup, but for the most part, I do take my trades at the end of the day and I sell them around 10:30 the next day, or sometimes I hold for multiple days, like 2 or 3 days. But my my idea of freedom isn't waking up really early to go and look at a fuck ton of charts to try and find a play and then trying to get in at the bell while everything is moving. I like to get in at the end of the day and wake up to money. And that has been the strategy now for a while. And the more I do it, the less I care about intraday price action. The bigger moves happen in the 24 hours. So, Chris, you can do it, man. When you say break out of box, do you mean on the 24-hour chart? Yeah, I mean, I focus on the 24-hour chart. And there is times where I have to day trade it or take a trade. So, um, what's the most I've ever made on one trade now is 83 grand. My second highest gain was 56,000, and that actually is really what gave me my start. So, the 56,000 that I made, I put in around $720. That was on Kodak. Crazy option trade. And then the second, the 83 grand, I put in over $3,500. So Yeah. So your trades are normally like a few days. Yeah, a day. How do you price your options for entry? Um, so typically they're always going to be target based. Always target based. Um, so if I'm looking at ELF, right, for example, if I'm looking at ELF over the top of that red candle at 108 and I see that 116 is the target, I'm going to find 115 and 116 contracts. Likely when the 24-hour candle closes outside of that wall, because I know that price, listen, this is what we know. We know that price moves rapidly in empty space like this. So when we and I'll show you guys, we fucking knocked this trade out. I mean, this trade went from like, oh damn, to like, holy shit. I could not believe it. Half the time this shit happens, I'm like, oh, bro, this shit's I can't believe that we're doing this. Like it just feels unreal. But we took Kava. So let me give you, if you guys are looking for entries, right? And this is not necessarily a candle close above a trigger, but it does give you a good context clue. And every chart's going to be a little different. But I'll show you guys on Kava, right? And explain the price behavior. If you guys have a second to hear me out here, I can explain why we took this trade. And I also can explain why we chose the contracts that we did. Maybe. Plug that in. So we're gonna scroll down here. Oh wow, I didn't realize that some people held Baba shorts longer. Where did the Kava go? Oh, NU. We could go over NU. When does a 24-hour so it literally opens at 4 a.m. and closes at 8 p.m. So, all right. So, and we obviously have to go with what we see on the candle closes right at the bell. So, all right. So, really quickly, I'm going to explain to you guys how we hit over 1,000% on Kava, trading this one overnight, right? And yeah, I can't believe that person even got into that. Okay, I'm trying to find some of where people posted it. 2,066% on that trade right there. Absolutely ridiculous. Baba was another highlight, so that's why we're seeing a bunch of Baba trades. The fuck is Kava at? Let's spy. All right, so sorry about that. All right, so let's go over this. I'm not going to sit here and look for this. So we come out, and again, most of, if not all of our trades are going to be taken while or as something leaves an area of consolidation. So we see that Kava breaks out of its box here, right? But we know up above us immediately that we have cost basis, and that's 126.86. And again, all of our trades are going to be highlighting that, right? So everything that we trade, right? And we also took NU. This was another 1,000% trade, y'all. We took Baba, NU, Kava, and all three of them went crazy, right? Empty space here. So we highlight and target that on every single one of our trades. Period, end of story. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's what we are looking for. And if it doesn't look like that, I don't want it. Because I know that I can take a fraction of my risk and make more than what most people do, holding 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, maybe even more, these positions that they take, and then they only get out, you know, at 20 or 50%. We hold things all the way based off of the chart. So really quickly, I want you guys to pay attention to these candle closes, right? Over here in this box. I'm going to highlight this. So when you look at an area of consolidation, where the candles close is where sellers control the price, not the wicks. The wicks are just prices that they hit and they get pulled back down. And that's where sellers place their orders to sell. It brings the price back down and they close it at this mark. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. But let's also paint a picture here, right? These candles at one point were all green, right? These candles right here were red. So you had the back and forth, right? 50% reversal of this candle. The next day, the candle turns red. You retest the floor above you. You pull yourself back up. Next day, you try and break out. You don't have the juice. You get pulled back down. The next day, you gap down. You dump. You retest the structure, grab buyers, and then you pull yourself back up into the playing field, right? And right there, runner, is why I knew that Kava wasn't going to fall back, right? Because I'm waiting for the end of the day, but Kava bounced and pulled itself back up. Now look at your floor. See the candle close right here? You pull yourself back up on that floor. Now, the difference maker is that this candle closes outside of where sellers have maintained and controlled the price. And we can look and see and verify this analysis by looking at the 4 hour, right? The 4 hour, candle close, candle close, candle close, candle close outside, right? So what does that mean on the 24 hour? Well, we're sitting underneath a box. This box acts as the only resistance to stop Kava from moving into this empty space. I got into Kava on Wednesday evening, and I traded it all the way to Friday. Or Tuesday evening, I'm sorry. And then traded it all the way into Friday. So with that being said, right, we have two targets. Floor, which you perfectly tap. The next day you gap up above it, showing that buyers like that price. And so the second target would be the next floor. And you perfectly fucking tap it. And so this is simple. I look for areas of consolidation. I look for signals on when that tension is set to break. I look at what's above me. If we have a box, awesome. If it has nothing underneath it, then I'm going there, right? I'm going to, or nothing above it, then I'm placing my trades off of that floor. And again, this was over, 1,000% trade, which is ridiculous. I don't know where the fuck Kava's at. But anyway, yeah, that was one. And then we also took NU, which was, goddamn, perfect. It did not move very quickly immediately, right? It punched through the box, kind of staggered, popped, stopped, and then rip. And luckily that one worked out really, really well. That was another 1,000% trade. 1350 floor. So typically we buy the so I do not, okay, so really quickly, and this is something that's really important for those of you who are new. By the way, 35,000 likes, guys. I appreciate you. This right here, right? That is where price moves rapidly, right? It moves quickly. So if I know that, then I buy contracts that expire quickly or sooner. And I buy them based on the target that I know that they're going to go and hit. So this allows me to buy very cheap contracts under $50 to $20 and then compound those. So if I'm right, I'm really, 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 really right. So, all right, moving on. LMT has that setup. LMT definitely does have that setup, and it wicked down and right now is trying to reclaim its floor. So we're going to look over here to our left now. It doesn't have that consolidation that I like to see and could just be retesting that floor to fall further, right? But we know that if it does reclaim that floor, that the probability of you moving up is really, really high, and that would place you with a first target over here to your left. You do have that tension on the 4 hour, right? But you left the box, but you haven't broken the top, which it wouldn't surprise me actually if this box just moves. But anyway, so above 464, I would start targeting 477 and then ultimately 493.50. Nike, delicious. All right. So I was a little disappointed on this one. Lower time frame, built a box at cost basis, which again, rare phenomenon, but does happen. So box here, box there. And I guess on the 4 hour, you kind of just held. But as of right now, Nike is in danger because of how it ripped. If it loses that floor, I am very certain that we will be returning back to 75.68. So that is the first target to the downside. And then at that point, if we fall fast enough, hopefully we can bounce and use this empty space we're leaving behind to rip back through. So this is going to be an interesting, and again, I'm long into May, but you had a punch back here, you came back and retested, and so I expected at minimum 75.75. Or yeah. What's the most I ever lost on one? I lost over $13,000 a couple of years ago, when Trump tweeted that there was going to be no stimulus checks, and I was at the grocery store, very expensive grocery shopping. All right, DKNG. So you're scanning the stocks towards the last 30 minutes of the day, looking for those setups. Yes. Adam, I buy at the end of the day, right? So if you guys join the Discord, you guys will be usually like, I've even thought about if we don't have a position, not even opening that day, but you know, again, it's still good to look at the open. But typically 9 times out of 10, we're gonna buy at the last yeah, so 1 PST. But we're gonna buy at the end of the day, the last 30, 20, 10 minutes of the day. We're going to pick our positions, grab our contracts. Everything's moving slow. So we don't have to worry about too much price action for the most part. And then the next day we wake up, we take our profit, or we make our decision in pre-market as to where we're going to get out. So let me walk you guys through a trade that did not work out. And I can tell you that I'm not one to buy bounces very often. I prefer boxes, and luckily I got one. But I took Apple on a bounce trade, right? Just simply knowing that it had bounced off of a channel and a floor. I took it here. It did pretty well. It spiked up, hit the 227 open, and died. Now, once it built that structure and I knew that it had empty space up above me and a little box that needed to be broken, do you see? When it dumps fast, it rips fast. And so I was able to fucking destroy Apple. And then I think some of our members actually took it out of this box for another really big earnings or something. Yeah. But anyway, we took it up and out. There's a huge play. So I lost on the bounce, but I won with the structure, because as long as we have structure, it's amazing. But you can't control much what happens overnight. How do you set up well? I mean, technically you can't always control what happens during the day. But here's how I like, I'm saying, like, you know, some news event comes in and just dumps you, you know, like, good luck getting rid of your contracts at the price that you want to. So there's issues there. But I will say this: if I'm taking a position and it does not have full confirmation, or maybe I'm speculating, I always buy hedges, which I look for target-based contracts to the downside. Are you serious, dude? Guap, are you in prison for real? That's, I mean, that's fire. But are you serious? No, I'm not the feds. Don't worry about me, bruh. Don't worry about me. Listen, I've been in there. I've been in there too. I'm just asking. Listen, I'm in the feds. Oh, you're in federal prison? Damn, son. Listen, do your thing. Do your thing. Teach the homies. Jesus Christ, bro. What the fuck? Oh, my God. You know, how'd you get that phone? I know how you got that phone, dog. That's crazy. All right. Anyway, let's keep moving. Do I have a play for Monday? I'm looking at a couple of different plays, but I'm mostly focused on things that haven't moved too fast. I'm mostly focused on an IWM swing that I took. So that's going to be where my focus is to the downside. So what do you mean target based contracts and just selling them at that target? So we trim at the targets. So for Kava, I'll tell you what I got on Kava, right? So we bought, hold on, if it ever loads. What's the ticker on Algorithm Holdings, homie? I don't know what those are. Um, so we bought Kava. Let's see. Oh, don't forget about Toast. We bought Kava 130 strikes. So looking at the chart, right? I actually missed a target. So our first target to our left, punching through this box, was going to be 131. So if my target, which my target is my targets are fire, right? My targets typically get hit. So if that target gets hit, I'm a dollar plus in the money. This allows me to look at what's below, look at what we need to hold, right? And then map out, okay, let me go ahead and trim my risk off. But I know if there is empty space remaining up above me, then I will make sure to leave, 50% or, 40% of my position left. So, anyway, all right. Do you teach how to use the brokers app? That's where I'm having a hard time. What brokerage are you using? How far out do you buy the contract to protect from theta? So here's actually the kicker, dude. Haas and everybody else who's paying attention, because this is really important. When contracts don't move, when you have rapid up and down in between a specific price, that decreases the price of those contracts. Therefore, the value of those contracts have lost so much value that when I buy, right? And again, if you think about it, I bought at the end of the day. So immediately at open, I'm up, right? And then it starts ripping and I'm not worried about theta, right? So by trading overnight, I protect myself from theta, and I'm also in. So think about it like this: I'm literally swinging into a day trade. I'm swinging into a move that I see happening, so I don't have to chase. I don't have to worry about it. But once my target gets hit, that's when I'm out. So there is no theta decay. I'm not. If it chops, I'm not. I'm not holding it. If it doesn't work or it goes back to my stop loss, I don't hold it. If it's not moving well, then there's obviously I'll kick that one out as well. Yeah, these gains are ridiculous, dude. The Baba trade was phenomenal. 1,200. Yeah, I think he hit 3,000%. It's crazy. Uh, you have another guy with TikTok channel teaching the Potter. Yeah, I know that's Pit Brother or uh, Put Brothers. Sorry. All right. Lily for upside this week. So they do have earnings. Listen, this could go really, really well. One thing that I do pay attention to is how it performs on earnings, and Lily does okay, right? Some earning, or I would say more or less, earnings go decently. Now you rip into earnings and not so much. So I've got two targets for you, and this is a great example of the strategy, right? We're in a massive weekly area of consolidation that looks like this. The top of that consolidation candle closes, double wicks are off of 847. So the first target on the weekly would be 864 on the 24 hour if that's able to be reclaimed. We have 875, and I suspect you'll hit 889.50. Oh my god, my contacts are getting blurry. Yo, thank you guys for tapping your screen. Um, I mean a difference of like, so what do you? I don't do pips. Derek, what is that ticker? How much does news have effect on actual stock price? Typically, it's just a short time reaction. So a lot of the times the move will be reversed completely. Depends on what it is. No TOS for charts. TradeStation or Trading View, excuse me. All right, keep dropping your guys' requests. I wanna get through these, and I'm still looking for empty space. All right, so here's one. Right, you have empty space underneath you. You got an imbalance target of 1565 and a final target underneath you. If it doesn't make sense to you like this, and not everybody likes to do this, I'll flip it upside down. You're mid punchback, so over 1625 AAL target 1575 and 1505. Those would be your two targets to the downside, with a follow through. There is a potential for you to quickly retest your floor at 1775 to give you a little bit of whiplash. Excuse me. So maybe something like this, or you could even whip down to 1845, but I think you end up doing something like that. And then with that, I also think that this typically does start a channel, and that channel will look like that. God damn! Look at that. Sorry. That's beautiful. All right. How to time for better entries? People say wait for the candle close, but I miss profits like that too. Stop trading on the lower time frame. In fact, it's funny you bring that up. This next upcoming 2 months, I'm gonna be on, especially newer people who come into my Discord. I'm gonna be on their ass about dude. If you guys want to make money and you're tired of losing it, most people are losing it because they're day trading. I'm give it a 30-day challenge of just taking trades at the end of the day, waiting for a candle to close up against outside of the area of consolidation or breaking through the box up above. And once you get that confirmation, you take that trade before 10-15 minutes before the bell, so you know that the contracts look, or the candle looks good. 2 weeks strong, no day trading. And Michael, I think you're the one who's been posting in the Discord. Dude, this shit's look fucking crazy. Your gains have looked amazing. I stopped day trading and I saved so much money. I think it's one of the biggest myths. There's an ego attached to it. If you notice, a lot of younger people are attracted, which I don't, they're attracted to that form of trading. But when we're young, instant gratification is a huge thing. But let me also enlighten those of you guys who are new. 80% of the market movement happens overnight, right? So 80% of the market movement is happening overnight on these individual stocks, which means from 4 till 8 and then 4 in the morning till 9:30 in the morning, right? That being said, 99% of day traders don't make it. Do you notice we can make a really good correlation between that. You are ignoring one of the biggest statistics that exist in the stock market, and that's that you're not going to get as much movement as you are if you're swinging or taking something overnight. So then you put you're trading in an incredibly low percentage opportunity. You're going to catch a few trades and it's going to keep you hooked, right? But then you're going to lose a lot and you're going to keep trying to come back and it's going to fool you. But it's changed my life. It's changed, and I mean this wholeheartedly. This shit has changed my life and other people's lives. And the less that I day trade, the less stress I have. And what are we all doing this for? Freedom, right? Except for Guap, he's in federal prison. But no, I'm just playing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shout out to July though, dude. I'm glad I saw you say that you were gonna get out, so then I made that joke. But I'm sorry. I'll probably do a $500 challenge if I ever get bored. So, sorry. 10 years later, man. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're good now, man. I hope obviously you're putting your time into good things. So Yeah, market moves a lot after hours, so all right, EA Sports. It's in the game. All right. So actually I called this target out really, really perfectly. I mean, this is just the floor. I'm just pointing it out. So you retested your floor, right? And this is cut and dry, folks. This is cut and dry. You tapped the floor over here to your left. Big bounce. You left empty space up above you. This is where the potential of forming your own area of consolidation or a large area of consolidation potential grows. So as of right now, in the 4 hour and the 24 hour, I have little to no context as to what's underneath me other than empty space. So one could, yeah, expect either A, you go fill that gap that gives you a second high, and guess what? I already see it. You might see it too. A really perfect channel. So my expectations on this chart are likely, because of the way you ripped, to do something like of this nature, right? And on that third tap, I think you break. And that's where you can go. So what are you guys talking about? How are you going to swing trade with the BS Trump is doing? Listen, I know it's hard to believe, but if you give me time, I will show you. Everything is in the chart, right? People know, and I will say some of the decisions that Trump makes are erratic. But I promise you, as those things are being written up, executive orders are being written up, that information is being moved and is known about. They know what's planned. And I know that sounds far-fetched, but we have verifiable proof that institutions, again, that mostly BlackRock, they own 40 to 50% of the market cap of a lot of these stocks. So when they say move, when they decide to react, they're doing it by mechanics. So if there's empty space underneath you and you have big bad news, you're going to move through that, but you're still going to bounce off of that box underneath you. The only way that that goes out the window is that the stock market truly thinks that it no longer is going to exist. And those are, or it threatens the existence of the stock market. That is the definition of a stock market crash. Regular hours trader is better than extended hours trade hours? Are you asking? No. So really quickly, I want to show you guys something. If you're new here, this is going to be something that could change your trading for fucking ever. Thank you guys for the gifts, by the way. I didn't even see those. Y'all are crazy. You don't have to do that. So let me show you guys an example. And it's just one example of the chart that I really like to show people because it just exemplifies how this strategy works. Which for some reason, that's weird. Okay. So I would like for everybody to turn their attention really quickly to something that, yes, I think could change your trading strategy. No, it's not upside down. It's fine. All right. So we're going to do this really quickly. Okay. Do you guys see the top of that box right there and the bottom right here? And I can point those out and why they are. So wick, body, right? And then you even get a retest here later on. We can see the body, the body, the body. They're all closing at the same mark. Very structural, very clean. We move down here to the bottom, and we have similar, right? Bounce off a cost basis. So really clean, beautiful boxes, no confusion. Now, let me go ahead and show you what it looks like on the daily, and you tell me why the majority of people are losing. Look at that. Now let's go to SPY, right? So with extended hours on, I could see boxes, right? I could see boxes. Now you can still see it there, but it's still deformed, right? Now move over a little bit further. The same thing occurs, right? You look at this massive area of consolidation and it just becomes this. I mean, how the fuck are you supposed to trade this? How? I really don't understand why or when people decided to cut out 8 hours of, okay, so let me explain one of my theories real quick and we'll go back to charting. I know that smart money comes in after hours and they place orders. Those orders aren't necessarily always filled. And the ones that they place in the morning are often $1 million orders, massive orders. And they're placed, they want to get filled at a specific price. So leaving out those orders is ridiculously stupid. Because when those orders get hit, and maybe they're the top of pre-market highs, that order gets filled and you move, right? You're gone. And so it does not make any sense to me that that is even a factor. I don't understand why people use it. I don't know when that became a universal thing, but it just leaves out so much valuable information. Tops, bottoms, all of it, right? And the tops and the bottoms of 24-hour candles, those will change your life too, because just knowing that that's where things bounce, it helps. So I tried the TOS. Yeah, it does not work on Think or Swim. You have to use TradingView or Trend Spider. All right, Pepsi earnings. Let's finish this out. I want to get some strong charts in here. Okay, so you are, again, right? Box. We're box hunters, dude. This is Build a Box Workshop. So I can't. I mean, you're gonna go down, right? I mean, that's as clear as day. It looks like you got a retest of 150 and 149.44. Upon that bounce, though, and this is where, again, we thrive off of clear setups to both the up and the downside. We don't necessarily have one, right? We don't have a super clear. So I am gonna borrow my friend here, the channel, and we're gonna look and see where trend lines up. Wow. So that is called a confluence. Right? Do you see how that lines up perfectly? The horizontal and the dynamic, which is what that's called, right, line up perfectly to form a confluence. Now, Pepsi has earnings, right? Pepsi is leaving behind empty space. So when I look at this setup, I can't help but think that you're going to bounce and you're going to break and you're going to be back at 154. That's what I think. Now, I personally, when I see this, I think it's going to start a area of consolidation that looks like that. And we'll see if I'm right. And that'll pinch it, and eventually it'll break out a couple weeks later. So it's a 24-hour. It's the same as the daily, but it includes the 8 hours from pre-market and after hours. So, damn, my contacts are all blurry right now. HD. So you buy in the money contracts and just sell it? No, I do not buy in the money. I buy target-based contracts. If I see that, so I'll give you an example here, okay? Random chart. I've already done analysis on it because we chart everything. This is actually, oh, damn, hold on. That goes on the watch list. That goes on the watch list. And I know that some of you guys in my Discord immediately know why, right? And if you immediately know why, you're ready. If you don't need me to explain this to you, then you're ready to start being independent, right? I know, Chris. Yeah, I've got a lot of messages here. So this is clear, right? So everybody should. I mean, I'm gonna write this down. So HD and MU are, and again, it's not my favorite day trading stock, but empty space, right? You move, and this thing has been on the move. Now you ripped up through that empty space, you filled it all the way up. Look, you tapped it literally on the fucking floor, and I guess my box is all fucked up. But right here on the floor, beautiful, right? Beautiful. So I can say the same thing right here underneath 409, right? We're going to be targeting 50% of that empty space, and that'll be right at the imbalance of 402. So 402 would be the first target, but ultimately I think there's a target of 395.50 to the downside, right? And that's where we could leave runners. Now, this is a big chart, and I know that, again, you move fast, you dump fast, you're going to move in a similar manner. So I would be placing my target and contracts likely around the $400 mark. So if this breaks and we hit the imbalance, cool, I'm in profit. If it bounces, cool, I go ahead and I go to the bottom. Not always. If the wicks all come off of the same mark on the box, then I'll use that. But we're focused on points of contact. So when I look at the top of this box, I'm looking at that wick and I'm looking at that candle because those are the only ones that actually line up. So anyway, HD 402, if that works, and let's say that you get one big ass red candle and it closes with no bounce, then we're going to go ahead and leave those runners down to the floor. So I would buy the $400 strike, and I don't know what the contracts are at, and that's the last part of this, and one of, if not the most important, right, is where those contracts out. So we look at HD, and let's see. So for this upcoming week, which again, this has not confirmed, it must break 409, 408. So it is very pricey, right? Now I could buy contracts at the 495 strike and be a little bit lower, but so I would say that those are, because those closed at around $130, $125, that those would be a little bit high in premium. I personally would rather buy contracts that are under $30. That is typically where the majority of my money goes. I did it with Baba. I did it with Kava. I did it with NU. I did it with Apple. All of those were 1,000% trades. So I need. So no, I make it. So runner, by the time you're at 405, I'm in profit. And because it's so far out of the money, and because you can see that the IV spreads out to almost 5 strikes in advance. When you hit 405, my contracts are being purchased. And the purchasing of those contracts, because it's moving in that direction, is what amplifies the gains and basically the IV. So it's a good setup, but it has to be within your risk to buy those kind of contracts. And if by some chance you didn't break until Thursday or Friday, but gave a signal going into Thursday, those contracts would be cheaper and I would try it again. Damn, I think I need to get back into the group. Any promos for returning members? Matt, shoot me a DM. Ivy mentioned doing a Valentine's discount, so she's the boss. So I think we're gonna do that soon. But do you have probably like 25% off or something like that? But do you have an adjusted data for dividends? Listen, B Wells, if it doesn't have dividends, typically I just don't worry about it. But I go with what's clear. You know, right now it's highlighted, but it doesn't make a difference. Barely, yeah, it doesn't actually make hardly a difference. I haven't found any noticeable difference except for stocks that appear to have more highs above them, and when you take those dividends away, they don't. So yeah, if you guys are on here and you want to learn and you want to make money and you're tired of fucking around with all these stupid strategies and things that don't work and hype teams, go to my YouTube channel. If you want me, then you need to be in the workshop, which is going to go up in price and also taken down by May. We will no longer be allowing that one to go off the shelves because we'll be doing a different one. But anyway, keep dropping you guys' requests. We're going strong here. ALK Rocket Labs. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so we're going to talk about this setup starting on a weekly, right? Because the weekly rules, literally. So what's the deal, right? You had a box, you popped out of box, and you pulled back to box. You dipped in it, but buyers have pulled you right back up to the very same wall, right? So we're fighting the same battle. So we can take that information and move it down to the 24-hour. Where we can see that we're now operating inside of a really, really intense area of consolidation. I fully expect this one upon a break, and it is something that I would be looking at on the hourly. This is an incredible example of tension. This is exactly what you want when you want something to make a move. So we're going to look at what's above, because that way we know where to get out if we're short, or we're going to look below so we know where to get in or out out if you're long. So above 30.50, plain and simple. I don't expect for this one to reject again. You have 4 rejections, basically almost 5. So if you pop, you have a target of 31.75. And I think what that will do is likely set this channel in motion, right? So it's not over yet. We're not going to call it. But if you dump, I suspect that channel is outplayed and you do have empty space underneath you. So you can go ahead and set parameters around this for a short under $28, for a leg down to $26.50. Runners, I think, should go to $25.50 because that is the cost basis, or rather the end of empty space right here. So I see 2 targets to the downside, 1 target to the upside. Use both of those information points wisely. So how much is the Discord? It depends on what you get. But if you want the 25% discount, I don't know, send a thumbs up in a chat and I'll tell Ivy to do it now. But otherwise, we'll just make sure you go to the website, go to the free Discord, and you'll get an update whenever that does happen. So Michael, I think you've made lifetime in it. Guap Grinds, listen, just be patient, dude. I mean, really, you're using your time wisely as fuck. But yeah, just we'll be here, dude. I've been here for like 6 years, so you've made lifetime times 5. That's what I'm talking about, dude. That's amazing. The free Discord is on our website, simplestacksinvestments.com. The link is in my bio. All right, let's keep going. I want to fucking chart, dude. Come on, man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah. All right. I have German in me, so not a German in me, but I have. Never mind. Okay, so I got it. Jimmy Neutron brain blast. So there is definitely a heavy potential right now to the downside, right? We have a floor underneath us at 380.89 that needs to be broken. You have a short distance underneath you for a box that looks like this. And this was actually a box that was punched through. So your return address will be 381.67 to the downside for a retest. Now, it's too soon for me to listen. I'm not going to, and I wouldn't waste my brain power on whether or not this one's going to break through this massive area of consolidation. So here's my final statement on crowd. If you hold 391, even if you come back down to retest, if you hold that, then there's more upside for you. And I would be paying attention to this, which has a target still left over of 525. So I would be waiting. Rhyme. What market is this in, Chief? This NASDAQ? Oh my god. Oh my god. So this is and I hate to disappoint, but this is a pump and dump stock. There is obviously no big players here. There's nobody holding the float. This is bad. You've rejected the only floor that you could grab, right? And you then punched down through a box into all-time lows. So the same process must repeat itself. If you are looking north, it's 72 cents. But dude, this is, yeah, not for me. FT&T. I stay away from stocks that look like that desperately. Fortnite. So big channel, we talked about that one popping. Also weekly time frame, you are trying to break out of your area of consolidation. Good candle close up against the wall. So looking at the 24-hour, right, we unfortunately are experiencing a little bit of selling here towards the end of the day after successfully moving out, which seems to play right into the hands of this dumbass channel right here. And so right now I would be paying attention to the top of my box right over here. And so you have not lost it yet. But if you are underneath 99.65, I'm not going to call for a breakdown until you start closing underneath 98, where you wicked off of. But if you do, you do have an empty space play to the downside. Fortinet, 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 Fortinet. Netflix. This one has been a listen. This one. It's getting close, and I can tell you this: the 24-hour when Netflix consolidates like this, and again the timeline on which when we had a great trade on Netflix. We took this one short a while ago, and then we actually took it long for a retest, and then it punched back all the way on its highs. And so far, it's been holding itself and not even retesting the 940s. But you have experienced multitude of rejections up off the top, right? So we're seeing that box being built. Now, there's also a lower high, which shows that there is a potential here for a breakdown, right? So here's what I would say, because you can't really pull anything else from this higher time frame. I would be looking at it and using my strategy on a lower time frame. So watch for a breakdown under 967.36 to give you a breakdown to 948 and 937.50. How much is your minimum investment capital to start an investment with you? I don't have an investment firm, and I won't be doing that. It is the plan, but I will not be doing that until my kids are both in high school. Once they're in high school, then I'm being patient because I'm having a lot of success doing what I'm doing. But me personally, I'm not there yet. A lot of UPS requests, so we'll take a look at UPS. Did we not already look at this one? Yeah, so I have a downside target right now of 107, right? And the reason that I'm saying this is because whenever you bounce, you want to grab onto something. Now, when we go to the 4-hour, we can see the floor and we can see the start of the area of consolidation, right? We'll get rid of this. It's irrelevant. So right now, we have 116.50 as the top. We have a potential build of cost basis at 113.75 and a floor underneath us at 111. So if you're within those parameters, I would be avoiding any sort of trading because you're going to get chopped to death. 2-hour, same difference. 1 hour, same difference. The only thing that I see here that could start something is that you can start to see the beginning of a channel here. But it doesn't change the fact that so 112, right? Watch 112. Otherwise, this is going to be a flat box, and you should be looking at 111, 110 to the downside. All right. GCTK, Glucotrack. Wow, what a very mechanical stock, though. I mean, you are structural. But I can tell you this last Friday that you rejected the top of your structure once again. Now you did leave empty space up above you. So a simple play right now is above 73 cents. You're looking for a retest of 86. If you break down, I believe this is all-time lows, so I can't tell you. All-time lows, all-time highs are the only places that I don't trade. Unless I'm already in. SMG, Chipotle, 24-hour. All right, so I have to admit this thing looks like really bad. You got a wick up there. You retested your floor, filled up your empty space, pulled back. You fell back underneath what you broke out from. So if you want to break back up, it'd be a 59 reclaim. But then we look left, and I mean, all I see right now is I see a 57.71 and a 57.15 target to the downside. Definitely one that I would avoid. Price action's pretty rough. It has earnings coming up, so I would more or less be looking at the earnings potential behind this chart. And right now you have 24-hour empty space up above you. So honestly, it's still not a bad idea. I personally think Chipotle will return to $64. On earnings, not so much. You do have some pretty explosive moves on earnings, and it does move through empty space rather well, but you have two triggers up above you that would have to be broken and would serve as potential targets. So you have a target of 60.20, which is psychological, 61.85, and if those are broken, 64. PLTR, which has earnings on Monday. So this one's up at all-time highs, brother. And I'm the first to admit that I am not a all-time highs trader. I trade and thrive off of structure. I know a good strong breakout into empty space will likely result in continuation to the upside to the nearest, and that's where people can use Fibonacci or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely not a preference for me. So going into earnings, you know, the 90s and 100 is a potential target to the upside. You have multiple rejections in the area of consolidation that you're in, but you also bounced off of cost basis. So at the moment, I'm more or less leaning for another pop up. So, BB, wait, I thought I already did this one. I did. So I'm just going to repeat myself on BB. I don't see the same empty space that you guys do. I don't see it. And I'm not going to pretend like there is, because there isn't. There is a cost basis at $5 even that you have the potential to go and hit because you're up against the wall, but your price action sucks as you're trying to reclaim that floor. So just the way that you're moving right here is just trash. So either A, you retest for 25, bounce, and then you go and head up and you hit that $5 target, but I really don't like that one. CMSA, or what is Comcast? CMCSA. Sounds like Confederates or something like that. So looking at the dump that they had, I know the price of my internet's about to fucking go up, but yeah, so you actually bounced off the only structure that you had underneath you, which basically sets out the rest of this trade plan. So on the 24-hour, you did bounce, you have respond, and so at the moment, it's a question of what do you need to reclaim? And it looks like 34.61 is the nearest floor to us on the left, and so hourly. Oh man, I really don't like that at all. That's choppy, shitty price action, probably meant to drive dip buyers for options out, but outside of that $34 mark, you can aim for 34.60. I know there's empty space here, but I would prefer to trade this empty space. Again, learning my lesson from Apple, when you do this. If you build a box, I'll take it all day. HIMS, we haven't looked at HIMS in a while. Actually, that could be a good trade. Well, it's at all-time highs, no? Yes. Okay, so it's at all-time highs. I have a channel. I think we talked about this one, maybe even going all the way to $45. It did not seem to give a shit about the pullback. It does have a lowered, or a weekly channel that it's possibly approaching the top of, and that would be 39 even. So with that being said, it is important to look at what is above and what is below. So we're going to go ahead and delete all of this. Here's our floor. Now, I don't have any other context. I have no other information. So I'm going to go into the lower time frame where that should reveal what is above and what is below. So you have a wall, 36.60, you have a 36.40, and then above you, you have this cost basis at 37.50. So if you're looking to take HIMS up, you need a 37.50 break, and you need that to happen off of the bounce of 36.50 or 36.42. If that breaks down, you have cost basis at 36, and that would lead you down all the way to 34.34. So again, taking a look at both sides of the trade. MU. So I've already discussed this one as being a favorite, and the reason that it's one of my favorites is because it's pinched in between two separate triggers. Downside triggers 88.30, upside trigger is a candle close above 93.11. It failed and got driven down. So there's a heavy potential to potentially go to 84 and beyond, right? And this is a major weekly floor, which would drive price likely all the way down to 79.33. But at the flip side of this, if we can create enough tension inside of this box and get back up above 93.50, this would make for a amazing play to the upside. absolutely amazing. And there is a few reasons to anticipate that, as we do have a channel here. So my hope is that we actually successfully, and again, that's why it's on the watch list. So I could even set an alert right now at 91.80 just to get me started. Soundhound. Not bad. Not bad. It needs time, needs to cook, but I don't hate it. And the reason that I like this setup is because it has a setup on both sides, which means that I can be patient and I can wait for that setup. So as of right now, you have a rejected cost basis 1533, which is keeping you from the gap fill at 16 and a top retest at 1767. If that happened, and if we were able to break back up on Soundhound, it would be a break over 1750 and a retest of 19 directly up above you. I believe that if you hit that mark, that would complete your downtrend. See how that lines up? So if that does, and again, it's too soon to say because you are rejecting 1533, which is where you're going to go up. If you break down, you also have empty space underneath you, and that empty space ends all the way at 960. So I would expect the imbalance target of $11 to get hit first, and then a breakdown underneath that. So in. Ooh, looks like he wants to come back down, rejecting the small structure up above it. Delicious. So while that does lack a lot of volume, it is showing that it is losing some of those areas that it broke out from. Perfect little box here on the 4 hour, so you can kind of get rid of everything else because you know what's going on up above you. Box here, you're at cost basis, getting close, 69.88 break, and I would expect that retest to happen down here at 60. I mean, honestly, the potential here could even go further because this is what you're operating in. So punch down, and I would expect 68.75 to get retested. SOC, I hate that. I hate it. I hate it just because it has terrible volume, and I stay away from all stocks that do not provide the volume that I need. I like institutionally owned stocks. I know this probably is in there, but I like the ones that are also publicly popular traded because those provide me with the liquidity to move through empty space the way that I like. But that being said, you are retesting the top of your structure over here at 2470, right? Upon bouncing, you're bouncing, but you're not really reclaiming anything, showing that sellers are still significantly in control. So when I look at this setup, I look at the lower time frame, I see that there's a box literally in the box. So you have a 2350 target. If that breaks, I suspect you're going to easily break 21 and you'll be back at your floor. It looks like it wants to head down with that rejection on Friday as well. So I have done a lot of the requests you guys are putting on here. So make sure to watch the YouTube channel later on. This will be uploaded immediately after the stream. All right. So it looks like you got a bit of a downtrend here. Not bad. You've got a bit of a box up above you. You've rejected cost basis. You've got a bit of a box below you. And you're basically bouncing in between. So underneath 38.25, you have a little bit of empty space driving you down. So I could place, this looks short to me for right now. I say 33.50 is first. And then if I was to short that one, I would hold shorts all the way to 30.50. This could be the breakdown. This could be the breakdown. It actually doesn't look terrible. So a move from 38.25 to 30. That's an $8 move. I'll write that down. That could be cheap too. I imagine IO&Q is a relatively cheap stock because it's not super popular. Everything does look a little bit red. So AI. Yo, we are really close to 65K likes. I really appreciate you guys tapping the fuck out of your screen. I love that. I can actually feel each tap. Oh my god, this thing looks wild. All right, we're gonna have to restart because what are we dealing with here? This thing is a monster. So it has in the most recent price action, which is an important phrase you're going to need to remember. In the most recent price action, you create a box, which would be considered like cost basis, but you're sitting right there at 3089. So a breakdown underneath that would say 27, 20, and 26. Now it has earnings coming up too as well, so that is an important factor. Looks like at the end of February. So does this have a clear setup going into earnings? I don't think so, right? Does it move on earnings? Okay. Decent. Decent. Not really. Could reverses immediately after. So when I see this, I think you hit 26, but I don't even know if you maintain or hold that move. Ultimately, looking at this on the weekly, though, you've got massive rejections here at the top. So part of me feels like you'll be returning to $15.05 before maybe summer. Under Armour has earnings. So again, the first process here is does it react, right? Do we see a reaction? I haven't heard about, yeah, so decent reaction there. You are boxed up and consolidated, right? And that's an important factor. It's the same reason why on IBM, I told people that it was going to rip, right? That it was going to move because of the way that it went into earnings sideways, right? So looking at this, Under Armour is going into earnings sideways, does have empty space up above it. I'm going to call for a $9 target to the upside for a retest of the wall that you're actually trading within on the weekly. So I think that there's a possible retest there. I mean, that's 850 on the weekly, but nine's right up in here. And then on the flip side, if you did break down, it would only be 660. So I mean, you're honestly, in need of something major, and I think that's where even the monthly could come in as a handy tool. Yeah, it's gonna be a while. Futures are open. How are we doing in Q? Yeah, delicious. And you know what? I didn't even know anything about fucking Trump saying anything. I didn't know it was all in the chart, baby. Look at that. That is absolutely delicious. That is amazing. Is there an IWM futures? Somebody find that for me. I don't know if there is. NQ, dude, this is actually fucking amazing. Um, this is fire. So anybody swing Qs? Anybody swing IWM down? We're gonna get that nasty ass gap down that we were looking for, dude. Monday's gonna be easy. If we did our job correctly, if you guys took your shorts, Monday should be easy. You said RTY is futures for IWM. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, man. Ah. Let me do the Trump fist. Dude, my fist is floating in air. What the fuck? I'm disappearing here. Listen, our trading day on Monday is already over. Over. But you know how that fucking feels, man? It feels so good. Oh my god. That's crazy, dude. Wake up on Monday, take my money, and get the fuck up out of there. So we swung IWM to the downside. We fucking swung IWM to the downside. So I'm fucking geeked. I'm fucking geeked. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Fuck off. Sorry. Potter, your neighbor called me and your chickens are out again. That's funny. Potter gooning tonight and tomorrow morning. Listen, what do we do? What do we need to do now? So half of the things that we just went over are going to gap down. Yeah, 2019. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Who did anybody in here swing IWM puts with me? Anybody swing IWM puts? Those are gonna be fucking delicious. Who is we? We should be right here. Let's go. We did it. As long as we hold overnight. You're gonna be smoked tomorrow. Matthew, you went long? Let's go. I ended up taking those. I ended up taking IWM with Jorge. We talked about it on live. Oh, dude, we're yeah, pre-market goes up 10%. That would be pretty funny. I mean, yeah, just go. All we have to do tonight is go to sleep. Net long, covered my shorts into close. I'm sorry about that, Matthew. That's all right. The bounce will be. I think the bounce back up, man, will be something that you could take advantage of. So don't lose motivation here. So I think every yeah, okay, cool. Everybody got 218 puts. That's exactly where it should open up at. So for Wednesday, yep, for Wednesday. February 5th. I loaded the boat with those, dude. I couldn't. I had to. This is going to be over 100% play. It should. The only thing that well, I did grab contracts for Monday. So I have February 5th and February 3rd. Hold on. All right. Cool. Cool. I might stay up a little late tonight. Party. R Duran. So what made you yeah, so if you paid I what did you guys pay for your contracts on IWM? They should yeah, she's Judge Jules saying they should open around 300. So I was just watching futures, yeah. Yep. Look at that. Dude, I love I love what I do, bro. I fucking love what I do. God damn, dude. This is one of those moments, bro. And I think it's gonna play perfect. Look at this. Watch, watch. Oh. So the hope here is that we do this. That play upside. Listen, that play to the upside is going to be fucking delicious. Yeah, for Monday's contract, and we'll see. I got those at 9 cents. So we got 9 cent contracts for Monday and then 31 cent contracts for Wednesday. Why can't I? Because you don't. You haven't paid for the data. But I'm gonna tell you what. Tomorrow morning, we do need to watch for a reversal. So, yep, yep. Real time data package. What a fucking great opportunity, man. We did it. We bounced off the floor, wick off the floor, wick off of the channel. So if we have it our way, we're going to be climbing right back up, squeezing out those shorts, and then probably chopping. So we'll see. Or if I have it my way, we chop at the beginning of the week and then we rip back up on towards the end of the week, making those contracts really cheap. So all right, I'm done slobbering all over my own fucking trade. Yo, where's Jorge at? Where is Jorge at? Jorge. Sorry. Dude, I'm so proud of Jorge. He did it. He fucking took his trade. I think he bought more. I got 50 contracts. This calls for a celebratory boxing match. Listen, my headset. I'll beat someone up right now. I'm lit. Tell Put Brothers to get in here. I'm gonna beat his ass. No. By the way, TikTok, this it's just a game. Fight night. We're not gonna fight people. Just don't ban me. Listen, I might do another sale, man. When I make bread, dude, it's like fuck it, fuck it. Might as well just do a sale. Damn. All right, beat Bobby. All right, guys. Your buddy wants to join. Tell him he's welcome, man. Probably a good time to join with the discount dropping. So I'm not doing 50% off. Not with the amount of money you can make with this system, man. I'm about to buy lifetime off this trade, dude. Let's fucking go, bro. I'm trying to keep it together. Trying to keep it together, dude. I'm just a happy dude right now. Just a happy guy. 50% off my clothing, you sicko. All right. Any last request? Do keep in mind that you're likely going to be gapped down. So let's go ahead and look at those now. If you guys have anything left you want me to take a look at, let's do it right now. Mobileye. Now, I think I contemplated taking that one towards the end of the day, but it failed on that breakout to go to the empty space and the upside. So hopefully you don't gap down too much, but I would go, I mean, personally speaking, 1541 would be an area to watch for a potential bounce, but this is not looking good, man. I'm not sure enough to go ahead and say take it down, unless you are underneath 1598. So MS toes, get out of here, dude. Chart your own toes. Now that dividends are coming, or yeah, dividends are coming up, so they're gonna pay out dividends. Oh, now that one's gonna gap down too, but I like that. I like that. So what do we say? So Morgan's, I like that. All right, so let's. I'm sorry, Oscar. I know. I try and keep up with everybody. Um, so let me. This is a great learning opportunity for anybody who's in here. Thank you guys for tapping your screen. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you. Yep. Hello. Nope. It's not charged. Here, take it. Little rat. Little poop head. No, it's okay. It's all right. Come here. No. All right. Don't troll and don't get banned. All right. Good boy. All right. So let's learn right here. Yeah, we are going to bank this Monday, dude. We should all be fucking excited. All right, so I really like this trade. That's okay as long. I don't think that futures are going to immediately reverse and gap up. I don't think so. But Morgan Stanley closed at cost basis. This could potentially gap down, and if it gap down to underneath 136, that puts a vulnerable. You have an immediate price target of 134. But here's what I want, and I need to make this clear. I want to short this all the way through all of this, back down to 129. So futures are cooked. Yes, they are, dude. I just want to keep looking at it. Oh my god. I just need to stay where it's at. Stay where it's at. I wouldn't be surprised if we do reverse and we tap around that floor. That would make a whole lot of sense. Save me. At the most, but dude, we just no, this is fucking big, guys. Oh, chug a fucking protein shake. Oh, that's chocolate peanut butter. That was not celebratory at all. Sorry, I'm gassed up, guys. We just got through fucking destroying Kava, NU, Baba. What the fuck, man? All right. I did go on YouTube. Yeah, that'll be on YouTube. So we've been live for 2 hours. So MSTR did EA. I'm not gonna do any repeats right now. MSTR micro strategy. This one is likely going to be a gapper. Imagine with the Qs gapping down to the level that they are. What the fuck? What are you sharing, MJ? You little shit. Thank you, dude. Actually, that's pretty tight. Um, okay. I don't know why the screen's black though. I, I would listen. I would just be looking for the 295 floor and the gap fill down here at 273. Every three turned into $50. Parker Invest, awesome, dude. Were you trading with us, or do you just take that on your own? I'm by, bro. I'm hyped, bro. I'm hyped too, man. We did it, dude. Literally Monday's over. Like that's freedom, dog. You can go do whatever you want. If it reverses, then you're gonna have to pay. But I mean, cost basis perfect rejection off of cost basis up above you. So what's underneath you? Empty space. I expect a pullback to this wick at 967.55, and that could turn into a return, but you need to stay above 960. Nice job, Parker. Nice job, man. Yeah, we shorted IWM. I grabbed a few Q puts, and that was about it. So this is going to make for an exciting trading week. So I just wanted a positive month after the last month I was hurting, but I just knew to hang in there. There you go, Blue Fire. Yeah, I remember you was talking about it. Oh my god. Oh wow. Well, they incorporated all the data in. Okay, so they got a new name, Block Square. So on the weekly, right, you haven't lost anything. You're still technically green. You got an overhead wall here at 93.50, so that's where we know we need to go and break. We can see that wall here on the 24-hour time frame. We can look underneath us and we can see where we've come back to retest, which is the top of this box that you punched through. So looking at this right now, if you close underneath $90 or you open up underneath it, you would have just simply your cost basis of 88.30, but otherwise I'd be aiming at the floor at 82. Oh, you're blue in the Discord? Awesome. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, we'll be looking at some nasty fucking. Make sure you guys screenshot those gains tomorrow. Uh, I know. I got sidetracked, but it was worth it. I need a little celebration. STZ. Okay, so I already talked about this one before, dude. You got a straightforward 188.27 and then an immediate 190.60 above you. You have a floor below you at 177.60. You got to react to one of those things, man. Now your price targets up above you are clear, right? You got a shit ton of empty space all the way to 207, so you would aim for an imbalance mark of 200. And then to the downside, you unfortunately have a really far 170 target to the downside underneath you. So yeah, I'm really excited. I am really excited. We did a great job. Um, Apple is going to be down. Apple, I think some people actually swung Apple. This one, huge crash on Friday. Pull back through that empty space. You were about to close at the floor. I see a target to the downside of 230.50, and then yeah, so 230.50. I would imagine a gap down there, or you're going to end up tapping the 227 mark there. So. But yeah, you got the downtrend. It looks like we're going to be down in the 226s. So Oracle, lots of empty space, came back and retested the same resistance that it had used previously to break out. And so with that failure, it basically leaves you with you looking down, right? And I would imagine that there's likely going to be a gap down to 165. So if you're short on Oracle, that's where you're likely going to open up. I don't know if we're going to see any runnage, but 162.50 would be your last runner target. And then at that point, I mean, this could make for a good opportunity to look at a potential reversal. But uh, obviously, that's our goal, is to see how you respond to 161. Do you bounce? If not, and you start fading down, it's a loss of 162.50, and we're looking back down at 153. Tempest. Somehow I have this charted. I don't know what the fuck this is, but you do have. I mean, it's a clear chart. It's very structural, so it's not a bad setup at all. So you went on Friday. You rejected cost basis. I haven't looked at this chart in forever, so the fact that it's still abiding by that is extraordinary. I mean, not out of the ordinary, but it's awesome. So you get a gap up above 40.70. You shoot up through the empty space over here to your left. You end at the last drop. So looking at Tempest, I actually see the potential with a move down below $52 to come all the way back down and to $37 for the gap fill underneath you. But that won't happen unless you lose 47.70. Obviously, there's a potential here to gap down. So if you do gap down, it would be preferred that you gap down to this cost basis, retest, fail, and fall. I see that as a downside play. That's a Pelosi play. Well, listen, every time that news comes in that Pelosi buys, a lot of the times they'll bring it back down because people chase and it'll shake people out. So, but if it obviously you have a trigger up above you, so 62.61 is broken, you're then aiming for 73. But I have shorted Nancy Pelosi in her face. A long time ago, everybody was talking about Nancy Pelosi buying Roblox. And I remember taking a short play out on it. And I did end up going red, but I didn't get out. I stuck to my guns. That ended up being a massive play for me because it ended up crashing. So this one I'm not a big fan of. It looks like you are literally, when I look at this, I see the beginning of a very large range. That's what I see. So that's what looks like is planned here. So you kind of have an hour. You can take this. This is probably something you could pay attention to pretty well on the hourly here. But I'd watch for 365 to get tapped off of, and then maybe 359 to break. But this is probably going to be a channel as well, like so. So you are getting close to a potential bounce point. All right, we're gonna do a few more here, folks, and then we're done for the night. There's nothing left for me to do. There's Lowe's with another. You already have the bid right at the floor here, so hopefully you don't gap down to 257. Hopefully you're underneath it. If you're underneath it, straightforward play to the downside to 256.62. Very simple. It does appear that there's also the potential here for a channel, and that lines up perfectly. 252.60. I'm so shocked with Tempest. What do you mean, Bartman? KO looks good. Hi. You coming on live? You're not gonna come and say hi to everybody? He probably grabbed the wrong one. The controller is right over there, Peyton. Isn't that what Rusty does to pump his views? Gets his shawty to get on there. IWM up or down tomorrow? Down, my boy. Uh, um, I don't like Coke right now. I do like Coke in the future, um, but I do think there's going to be a little bit of lag time before that happens. So here's what I think you're going to end up looking like. Right now, you're more concentrated in this area, but ultimately above 6401, yeah, 6475. But you look like you're going to continue to consolidate. Thank you guys. Yo, really close to 65K. 75K. That would be sick. I appreciate it. Oh, I've done Oracle like 9 times, PD. PD, you have you're going to be back down at 165.91 tomorrow, and then I would watch 163.95. So before everybody, I just got a couple of DMs for this, but I will put. I mean, seriously, as a celebratory thing here, I am going to um, reactivate a. I don't know. What should we do? 25% or 35%? This is a big play. I feel like fuck it. I feel like fuck it and just say 35. I don't want to make a new code. 35. I figured you guys would say as much. Hold on. 45%. Jesus Christ, bro. Right now, the watch list is consisting of Morgan Stanley, MU, um, IONQ, HD, Lowe's, and obviously IWM. So that's currently what is on the watch list. So let me really quickly. I'm going to do this for everybody who's waiting. 35% off. I think it's going to be the same code. All right, listen. The code is TikTok 35, all lowercase. TikTok 35. TikTok 35. That is the discount code. If you guys don't mind, well, actually, I'll go see if it works. Hold on, it does not work. Hold on. El Diablo Blanco. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm moving here. Hold on. This takes a long time. Yeah, just give me a second. I'm doing it right now. All right, lifetime is up. Let's see if this works. This is why I have Ivy do all of this shit. Yeah, 35% off for life is what I just did. So, all right, yearly and lifetime are done. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and yep, we're good to go. All right, go ahead, go for it. If you guys the code, well, let me go double check the code. Sorry. So TikTok, all lowercase, 35. Cool. Yep, it works. And if you already have a membership and you want to stack it, we do permit that. Just because I know some people like to take advantage of it. All right. Well, what a great live stream. Thank you guys for all watching. Those of you guys on YouTube, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, hit the little bell thing so that way people or you know when I go live or know when I post a video. Um, I'm too much in the workshop and now I need to upgrade to lifetime. There you go. But this will be on YouTube, so you guys can watch this back later. The Discord is through Simple Stacks Investments, Disney and Lost, simplestacksinvestments.com, or the link in my bio. Just go to the website. I'll show you really quickly. Maybe. So, right. Yeah, right there you're going to join. But if you go to the home page, right here, the little Discord thing, you can go to my YouTube channel. So, anybody want to donate a lifetime? One person did it before. Oh yeah, you'll be good to go. So, all right. Um, man, listen, RJ, I have learned from multiple one-on-ones that most of the time, if they're absolutely necessary, I will. But I also would like people to ask those questions, on live or even type them out. So if I don't know stock options well, I learn it from you. Surely, if you'd like to, yes, that's what I do here. Is um, I teach options. So you go to my YouTube channel, you can learn there. But yes, I do teach how to trade stock options. So I use TradeStation. Nick, once you break through a box, right? If you break out of a box, then if you come back down, that box is still a box. And if you punch through it, it'll go lower. But if you punch up through a box, typically at that point that trigger doesn't fire the same way. You don't want to come back to it. It's still using the same price points, but yeah, once price moves through it once or twice, it's over with. So all right, guys, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for watching. This will be on YouTube later on, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow and all the money. So here we go. All right, peace out, guys.